Most chromosomal microarray services require a blood draw in order to do the testing. Lineagen has taken a different approach, and we use a cheek swab or a buccal sample for our CMA testing. And we did that for a number of reasons. The first reason why we feel the buccal swab is a much better service is because it's easier to use. I, for one, don't like to have my blood drawn. I think we'd be hard-pressed to find anyone in this room who did like to have their blood drawn. And that's especially true for children with developmental disabilities, hypersensitivities, children who maybe have a distrust for doctors. It's just harder to get them to sit down and to get a needle into their vein. It can be very frightening for these children. The cheek swab is very similar actually to the way a child might have his or her teeth brushed, and the parents can administer it. The second reason a cheek swab is much better than a blood draw is because the stability of the sample is actually much better. And the reason is because blood samples really need to be acted on within a couple of days for the lab to be able to do the appropriate test. The buccal swab, on the other hand, it lasts for 2 months before we need to act on it. The third reason why collecting DNA from a cheek swab is better than collecting DNA from blood for a CMA is because we may actually be able to find the diagnosis through the cheek swab and not through the blood. There is a case that Lineagen has performed for a child where we've collected both his cheek swab and his blood sample, and the diagnosis was missed from the blood sample. And the ultimate diagnosis ended up being something a little complicated. It's called mosaic trisomy 21. So think about mosaic tiles, a combination of black and white tiles, a mosaic. Mosaicism means there's a mixture of 2 or more different types. So this child had some of his cells that had an extra copy of chromosome 21, which is the medical diagnosis for Down syndrome. The other part of his cells were normal. And we have now several different cases of examples where mosaicism is better diagnosed through the cheek swab than through the blood.